Welcome to the Berea Animal Rescue Fund, affectionately known as ARF. We are located at 390 Barrett Road in Berea, Ohio. We're a non-for-profit 501c3 organization sustained through donations, fundraisers, and earned grants. ARF operates as a no-time limit shelter. ARF began in 1987 when a small group of animal lovers started a grassroots movement recognizing the desperate housing and healthcare needs of homeless animals. Their efforts began in the suburban Cleveland area, transforming a family's garage into an animal shelter. The ARF movement grew when the city of Berea provided us a small building, utility costs included. In return, ARF would always have a cage open for the city's stray animals. In January 2004, this modular unit was added for all of our cats. All of the work was completed by very dedicated volunteers. Many companies also lent us support by either donating or reducing the costs of many of the supplies that were needed to complete our modular unit. The cats now have a free-roam playroom, plus an outdoor porch for lounging and sunning themselves. Now let's take a tour of our cat house. This is the main room. It accommodates up to 36 cats. We have volunteers working in a very busy and crowded room. We do offer cage sponsorship to raise additional funds. In addition to the main room, we've also converted our laundry room into cages, especially during the busy season when we are so overcrowded. This is our intake room. All cats and kittens arrive here first. They are tested, given all of their shots, and once they get a clean bill of health, they're moved into the main room for adoption. It's a very small room, a very crowded room, but a very necessary room. Let's look for a moment at our cat cages. They are 2 by 2. They're big enough for a cat to move around in, but certainly not large enough for them to stay here for an extended period of time. Our larger cats, when they come in, are placed in temporary portable cages where they have just a little bit more room than the normal cages to move around in. Now let's take a tour of our dog building. This is the original building. Prior to the addition of the cat house, this building housed all of the cats and all of the dogs. This area was expanded in 2004, providing much needed additional space for our dogs. We use a combination of permanent cages and portable cages to house up to 12 dogs. This building is only 950 square feet, but we make the most of every inch of space we have. As you can see, the dog building is very small and it's overcrowded. Also in 2004, we added a back door and dog runs behind the main building. This is a great place for our dogs to hang out away from their cages. And it's not unusual to see our dogs lounging in their kiddie pools on a warm, sunny day. We also added this storage barn in 2004. Unfortunately, due to lack of space in the main building, our offices now occupy this building as well. Have I mentioned earlier that we're overcrowded? And now I'd like you to meet one of our friends. This is Emma. Emma's a great example of ARF's commitment to our animals. She is middle-aged at almost 8 years old, and she prefers to be the only dog in the household. Both of these make her just a little bit harder to place in a permanent home. She arrived at the shelter over 7 months ago. While she was at the shelter, it became evident that she needed more one-on-one attention and affection. So she was moved to a foster home and has been happily living there for over 4 months. ARF has stringent guidelines for our foster homes. She has blossomed in her temporary home, and ARF continues to pay all of her expenses. She will remain with us until she finds that forever home, because we live our pledge to be a no time limit shelter, especially for Emma. And now I'd like you to meet Atlas. These are before pictures of Atlas. And these are after pictures. Atlas arrived at the shelter near death from starvation. His ears full of mites, covered in fleas and filth, with little chance of survival. Although he was full grown, he didn't weigh more than 5 pounds. He had trouble eating because his mouth was filled with ulcers, and his skin was fragile to the touch. From the beginning, the volunteers fell in love with his will to live. He would purr at your touch. He would struggle to stand when he was so weak it was impossible. His pleading eyes motivated all of us to give him our best. The long road to treatment began with elimination of the obvious problems. His blood work indicated he was diabetic. Atlas was started on a dose of insulin twice a day. A foster home with an experienced feline diabetic caregiver was located. It was already March, and he still only weighed 6 pounds. It was determined he needed surgery. The doctor said he had a 50-50 chance of survival. Atlas had surgery. Atlas survived the surgery, and after 5 weeks at the clinic, he was returned to his foster home to continue the long journey to recovery. He gained weight. His insulin needs declined. He began to play, to snuggle, and his personality blossomed. Feline diabetes, when caught early enough and properly treated, need not be a death sentence nor a burden. It's extremely treatable, and feline diabetic cats can go on to live long and happy lives. Despite having to be poked and prodded several times every day for his insulin, he remains a joyful, loving cat who lives life to the fullest. We at Berea Animal Rescue were elated when his foster mom, Beth, adopted Atlas. We love him, and he is the perfect example of Berea Animal Rescue living our pledge to be a no time limit shelter. And now, after more than 20 years of service and thousands of success stories later, ARF continues to save lives and make friends. We have an extremely dedicated group of staff and volunteers willing to help all of the animals that come our way, but often we just don't have room. We consistently exceed our capacity utilizing portable cages in foster homes in order to serve more and more animals. A bigger shelter is needed now more than ever. It is our goal to position ourselves into a roomier facility large enough to help all of the area's unwanted and abandoned animals. We believe that no pet should be euthanized and no pet should be left behind simply because there is no room for them.